Hi guys, it's Ikansh here, and we're back doing another video today. We'll be covering the much asked for topic of pediatrics and how one can, having done the pediatrics in India, how can they move to the UK and how can they go about doing it? And to do that, to discuss that, we have someone who's actually been there, done it, and is more than happy to share his experiences with us. We have Ajinkya with us today. Ajinkya, stage is yours.
Hello, hi everyone. My name is Dr. Ajinkya. I belong to the city of Pune and currently I'm in the UK pursuing my fellowship in neonatology. And for past 2 years, it's absolutely been really valuable. My experiences in professional, academic, as well as personal life have been very enriching. And today I'm here to share with you guys certain pathways, certain ways that you can pursue or get a little gist of your career in pediatrics in the UK. So without any further ado, let's get started.
Okay, so just to show what we'd be covering today, we're trying to keep this very crisp and very to the point. So the points that we will be covering today will be how can you move to the UK with your either through the MTI or the non-MTI pathway.
Yeah.
How can you go about securing a job in the NHS as a pediatric registrar? What are the things you can do to spruce up your CV so that you can actually get the job and first get to the interview stage and get the job. And we'll also touch up very little on what is it that you expected as a registrar.
Fantastic, Ikansh. So let's start with the first point. We mentioned MTI and non-MTI. It's not clear to many people what it is. They have just been seeing on Facebook and YouTube and, listening to their peers and their seniors. But what MTI really means is a medical training initiative. So this is sort of an MTI scheme which was started by the Royal Colleges for doctors in the developing countries who have completed their post-graduation and have sufficient experience in their specialty. They are recruited directly into the NHS system through an interview process where they assess your clinical proficiency and of course your proficiency in the language and whether you're a safe doctor. So that what is MTI really is. That's what MTI really means. So
I think the key there is a safe word, as you said. Being a safe doctor is what they're looking for.
Oh, definitely. And I think that's very important, not only to come and work in the UK, but that's very important for any doctor for that matter. But yes, that's very important. So the advantage of the MTI scheme is that you don't really have to appear for examinations like PLAB or any of the RCPCH examinations. You can directly be recruited. Of course, when I say this, I speak solely of pediatrics rather than any other specialties, because different specialties might have some different norms. But for pediatrics exclusively, you can directly be recruited after your MD or DNB examinations through the interview process of the MTI scheme that has usually conducted virtually as well as in person. Now, how are these interviews conducted? How will you get to know about these interviews? So number one is on the RCPCH website. What is RCPCH? This is Royal College of Physicians of Child Health. So on their website under education and careers, there will be a list of MTI posts which are available in the UK. You just have to send your CV across and you will get a call back whether or not you have been selected for the interview process based upon your CV, and you will get an interview date. So this is number one. Number
we'll put up the link down in the comment section.
Yes, that will be very useful. Yeah, we'll have a link down in between, so where you can look into it. Then second way where you can get to know about these MTI posts and these MTI interviews is they are run face-to-face in India, in different states, in different cities. So you get to know about them through different journals, through Facebook, as well as on the NHS Jobs website. So again, you apply for the interview, you go over there physically and appear for a face-to-face interview and await for the selection call. So that's another way that you can get to know about these interviews through the
Obviously, the
MTI.
face-to-face interviews might not be happening because of the current
Oh,
pandemic.
definitely. Yeah.
That's obviously
We are in a
you
pandemic
have to take into
situation
account.
right now. So currently they are on hold. If, in fact, currently most of the MTI posts are on hold because it's taking a lot of time with the bureaucratic processes. But that doesn't mean it has been abolished. So they will be running through, however, at a slower pace. But as Dr. Ekansh said, that they are probably not face-to-face interviews at the moment. Very rightly said.
What about the non-MTI pathways, Ajinkya? Can you tell us something about?
Yeah, indeed. So for all the doctors who can't get through or don't wish to come through the MTI or not qualified to come through the MTI pathway, it's not all hope lost for them. But I'm afraid those doctors do need to appear for the PLAB
Mhm.
examination or the MRCPCH examination.
Okay.
Most of the times it's required that PLAB is cleared for the GMC registration. And once your PLAB is cleared, once you have the GMC registration in hand, you can directly apply to the junior doctor post in the field of pediatrics all across the UK, which you will get to know through the NHS jobs website.
Okay.
So you don't need to have a qualified pediatric training degree to apply to them. You just need to have a GMC registration, which you will get after clearing the PLAB examination.
So
And
is
of course,
PLAB the only way to get a GMC registration for a
it
pediatrician?
is. It is. In very rare scenarios, it has happened where the candidates are recruited after MRCPCH examination. But in past half a decade, I have not seen any such case. It has been before that. Currently, yes, PLAB is the only way to get a GMC registration if you are not coming through the medical training initiative pathway.
Okay. Now, I know, talking about a little bit from your experience,
Yeah.
can you tell me a little bit about the pros and cons of the MTI versus the non-MTI? I know people have these options, but when you get down to trying to make that option, it's really hard because, you feel like, oh, I can go for this or I can go for that. But can you shed some light on that aspect?
Oh, definitely. So, if you are already put in a lot of effort to complete your master's in pediatric, which I did back in the city of Pune, after that, it can be a bit tiresome to study all the 19 subjects to appear for the PLAB. If you have to, you have to. If you don't have an option, of course, you go for it. But if there is a loophole where you can, do not give it, you choose it. And that's what I did. So apart from the advantage of not have to give the lab examination, the other advantage is that, of course, the process is fast tracked. You directly get the certificate of sponsorship and you just apply for the visa and you're on your next flight to the UK to work as a junior doctor, of course, to become a senior doctor soon in the registrar role. So that's, I think, the biggest advantage of an MTI pathway. There is a certain type of visa called as the tier 2 visa, which you can come on if you opt to come through the PLAB examination route. If you come on your own, you give PLAB, you get the GMC registration, you apply for a job. So essentially, you get something called as a tier 2 visa. This could be important for some people who wish to pursue their rest of the career or their lives and wish to settle down in the UK, as against its tier 5 visa for MTI. So that's sort of a basic difference when you have to take long-term career into consideration. However, it doesn't matter much. It's just two steps further down with MTI, and with tier 2 it will be a little bit more faster to get your process of ILR, etc. But I don't think it really matters much when you're applying and just trying to get an experience of how it works and how things works in a different country like Great Britain.
Absolutely. Now, there's this thing that comes with the MTI, which is the learn, earn, and return slogan that kind of goes with it. But if you were to, if you wanted to stay back, are there options? Can that be worked out? Is that a possibility?
So as you very rightly said, that's the motto of MTI. to come to the developed countries to get the experience of how things work over here in the NHS, which is the largest healthcare system in the world, and earn, of course, to save money, because everybody knows about the pound and INR conversion, and then go back and give back to the society, not only in form of economy, in form of finances, but also in form of experience, to bring that finesse to your practice back home in India. So that's the whole point of MTI, which is really nice and which I am encouraged to do. And I can't wait to come back to my city and apply all the knowledge that I've gained in the UK. So to answer your second question, whether there is an option to switch, the answer is yes. Over a period of time, if you have not appeared for exams of MRCPCH, you can appear them, you can take the exams, you can clear them and get different jobs in different trusts. That will be essentially the trust grade jobs, which you will be as a registrar in that trust for the rest of your life. Or, of course, the third option is getting into the pediatric training and getting trained in the UK as a pediatrician to become a consultant. So that will be our option number 3, even if you come through the MTI, which is, of course, not encouraged by the MTI. And being an MTI candidate, I wouldn't sort of publicize that as well.
Right. Well, I mean, I think it's beyond the scope of this video to talk about the training in pediatrics. Moving on, what are the things, as you mentioned, I think you can look up on Facebook, on the websites for the jobs that come out. I think you've already touched on that point. What are the things that as a pediatrician you can do to spruce up your CV, or, help you get that job?
Lots of things that you can do.
Certification courses, any leadership?
Yes, definitely. So there are plenty of things that you can do. Unfortunately, we are not apprised of them while you are doing your masters in our busy government hospitals back home. But we should be very watchful of them. Number one is, of course, doing publications, getting appreciated on the international forum, on the national forum, putting across your case reports, your, quality improvement projects that you've done, your thesis that you do, publishing them. So publications is number one. Number two, as you rightly said, the area that you're working in, let's say nephrology, neurology, hemato-oncology, etc., try to get certifications from that courses. For example, if you're working in neurology, are you aware about how to read an electroencephalogram, how to do an electroencephalogram, how to set up a machine, what all electrodes are used? And all these information courses are not only available in India, face-to-face, but also virtually worldwide. So, it just takes a day to sit through them, learn about them, get an insight, and get a certificate and on your CV. So similarly, it can be, in any specialty that you work in, that you can do that in neonatology, in hemato-oncology, how a dialysis machine works, what is dialysis exactly, what is peritoneal dialysis, what is pediatric dialysis. So there are a number of courses that are run in different states, in different cities, of course, by different consultants. So it's worth attending them. So I would say before all this, it's good to have a focus. It's difficult to know what specialty you want to pursue in long run. I was confused for a very long time, but at least it's good to shortlist few of them and work your way towards it. It doesn't take much. It sounds quite magnanimous and quite an Herculean task to do, but honestly, it isn't. Simple quality improvement projects, how to, let's say, improve the opportunities of vaccination in your OPD, or how to, maximize the attendance of thalassemia patients in your blood clinic. So these are very simple things that you can at least survey and put a quality improvement project. It is so simple that you might redeem as insignificant, but honestly, it is not. It can go on your CV by just a small letter by your consultant. So with all these things, you have to really create a database that will be your CV and that will be your marketing strategy. At the end, it's all about marketing yourself, how you present yourself in the world, and your book will be picked up. They say don't book a judge by its cover, but all of us do.
Absolutely. And I think, as you said, doing all these things, not only does it add to your CV, I think you take this to your practice as well in one form or the other. It kind of
definitely
knowledge, it widens your perspective. It shows you that there are other opportunities, and coming to the touching a little bit on the quality improvement aspect that you said. I think it was my personal experience that there were so many opportunities that were constantly around me, but it's just that your eyes will only see what your mind knows. And unless there is an opportunity there, you won't be able to take it.
Yeah, I agree with you.
That's where we're trying to help you guys understand that these are things that we don't really consider significant, but they play a remarkable role in actually getting you through the system here.
Rightly said.
One last thing that, Ajinkya, if you can touch upon is, as a registrar, I know the responsibilities are wide and there's a lot to cover, but if you can just touch a little bit on what is it that you expect to do, what is the work like, and you compare it to a little bit to how you work in India and how you work here. What are the nuances? What is it that you found different?
Definitely. So there are two posts over here that you essentially work on. So one is a registrar, which is a senior doctor, and other one is a SHO, which is junior doctor. And of course, you report to the consultant. So as a registrar, which is a senior doctor, you hold most of the, I would say, decision-making responsibilities. You're sort of managing the shop floor, so main decisions to be taken, documentation, you're sort of looking over the entire unit to make sure everything is running smoothly. So you're sort of almost a consultant when consultant is not on the floor. So I would compare it to probably a third-year resident back home in India to a registrar. Of course, the responsibilities remain the same, the clinical knowledge remains the same, and the clinical aspects of the duty and the job remain the same. You do also take upon a teaching role where you are teaching your juniors, where you are teaching your SHOs, the nurse practitioners, as well as the nurses, and also hold a managerial role, not only at the situation when you are on call, but also in the long run in terms of education, in terms of research, in terms of academics. Of course, these are all sort of options. Nobody will make you do it if you don't want to do it. But there are lots of opportunities that you can pick and choose and excel yourself in that and make yourself known for that. So that's what I'll compare a registrar to. And it's something with a lot of potential. And as you said rightly, it's very difficult to compile all this concept in this very short video. But I'm happy to do that later to talk about different roles of registrar, different roles of a pediatric SHO, especially for pediatrics. So just to give you a little insight of what exactly it is, because people are quite confused that, oh, I'm not going to be a consultant when I go to the UK, so I don't go there anymore. But that's not the thing, that's not the end of the world. If you're not being a consultant, of course, being a consultant is a process. It's a, curve that you achieve over a period of time. So it's a bit different as to what you would compare back home when you achieve or complete your master's and become a junior consultant right away. But that's not the scenario over here. But however, this discrepancy which is there, while becoming a registrar to become a consultant, why does it take so much time? But of course, the process is quite constructive, and it's useful, and it is needed. So I would really suggest we'll talk in some other time about what a registrar does in the pediatric field in the Great Britain.
I think that's worth a full video in itself, covering on
so absolutely,
the responsibilities are, what the expectations are, and what is it that you can look to bring out of it. Anyways, thank you so much, Ajinkya, for coming on, speak about this. We've had quite a few people who've come in and asked us about things about pediatrics, and we're very keen to do this with you. I know this has been some time in the making, but hey, we got there. And I'm sure we'll be more than happy to answer any questions that you guys have. Feel free to put them down, and we will get back.
It was my pleasure, Ekran. Sorry to cut you. To be a part of it and talk about it. And as Ekran said, feel free to ask as many questions as you want. My Instagram handle is Jinks90, JINKS90. And of course, my Facebook page is Ajinkya Kale. And just a small short disclaimer at the end of all this, I or even Ekansh, we are not connected to any of the Royal Colleges or NHS jobs. We don't have any interest in the economic perspective. We are just sharing knowledge so that you can make an informed choice. Because coming from a non-medical background, I know how difficult it is to choose from different options when you really wanted to, explore outside the country.
As we keep saying, right information at the right time hopefully leads to a right decision. And this is where, the attempt is from our side.
Yeah.
We have people like Ajinkya who's taking the time out to share this with us. We'll come back with another video where we'll cover the job as an SHO, as a registrar with Ajinkya. But for now, this is it for today. Stay safe, guys. Take care, and subscribe and ask questions, and we will try and get back.
Adios. Cheers.
Bye-bye.